We'll start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying Kathopanishad, the second chapter. We have finished the first chapter and the second chapter, the two sections. Section 1 and 2 we have finished. We are in the last section of Kathopanishad, which consists of 18 mantras. Kathopanishad is a very beautiful text giving us how we should look at the world. In our vision, there is a vision which is given out by our eyes. What we see with our fleshy eyes is one vision. The Upanishad wants us to see the same world with the spiritual eye. There is a spiritual eye, which is the eye of wisdom. So when I study this Upanishad, what do I get? I get the wisdom of this universe. So it teaches me how to look at the same universe, but with the spiritual eye. That is the goal of all the Upanishads. And in this Upanishad, the story form in which Nachiketa gets this knowledge from Yamadharmaraj, the Lord of Death. We have seen almost the full Kathopanishad except the last section. Today we are going to start with the first mantra of the third section. Let's see how we can go about it. I given you last week this chart I explained to you last week, where I said that this third section consists of three topics. The first topic is Brahma Swarupam, Brahma Vidya Swarupam. What is the nature of Brahman? What is the nature of the reality? That is the first topic, and that is taken up in the first three mantras. The next mantra, the fourth mantra, deals with what are the conditions required for Brahma Vidya. In my intellect, what are the conditions required? There is a purity which is required. Then the last portion from the fifth verse till the end of the chapter, till the 18th verse, 14 verses are dealing with the benefit of Brahma Vidya. If I get this knowledge, what are the benefits which I can achieve in life? I also told you there are four mantras which come in Bhagavad Gita, which are picked up directly from Kathopanishad. I have given you the references here. The reference 1 to 18 is for the Kathopanishad reference. Then I have given you Gita chapters. What are the verses? Now, 1 to 18, 1 to 19, 1 to 7, all these mantras for which there are Gita mantras, I have put it here. And the first mantra of the third section is also repeated in the Bhagavad Gita. Shankaracharya writes a very beautiful commentary in Bhagavad Gita for this verse. Very elaborate commentary. And he says that there are 8 features which are common between Ashwatha tree and Brahman. What are the 8 features? 8 features are Mahantam, Mahatvam. The Brahman is supposed to be vast and huge. limitless. Similarly, this Ashwatha tree is vast and a huge tree. Adi Antarahitvam. That is the second feature. Now, these features are helpful for us to meditate on the Brahma Swarupam as our own nature. The entire example is purely meant for conceptualizing the limitless nature of Brahman. The third feature is indescribable, anirvachaniyam. You can't describe the world. It's so huge. Similarly, Ashwatha tree is also cannot describe it because it goes into several branches, several leaves, several so many. It's so vast. Shakhatvam or Vishwadharam. Before that is Vishwadharam. Vishwadharam means it is the support of the entire universe. The Ashwatha tree, the roots are the support for the entire Ashwatha tree. Then there are parts to the tree. Different parts means there are branches, there are leaves, there are fruits. So Shakatvam means there are many branches. Similarly, in the universe also, there is Karana Shariram, there is Sthula Shariram, there is Sukshma Shariram. They are all different branches of one Brahman. Phalatvam. A tree gives fruits. The universe gives us the fruit of our karma phalam. Whatever we do in the past, it gives us. See, our whole life is just actions and actions and actions. So if I want to just recap, what have I done during my life? The only conclusion you will reach is I have done a lot of activity with the help of jnana indriyas and karma indriyas. That is the life of all human beings on earth. From birth to death, what do? We gather knowledge of the world, we react to the world, and we get the fruits of our own actions. Chalanatvam. Chalanatvam means movement. Ashwatha tree moves with the wind. And the nature of Brahman also is it keeps on moving. That means it is the Saguna Ishvara portion which is moving. Chedvatyam, it can be cut. The universe can be cut, the tree can be cut. How? When I cut the branches, then what happens? The roots cannot survive. Similarly, when I cut off the samsara tree, I cut off all the raga dveshas from this tree. What happens? My samsara goes away. So these are the 8 features which you can apply when we do the actual verse. Shankaracharya writes pages and pages of commentary in the Bhagavad Gita. And also in this Kathopanishad, he writes a very big bhashyam on this verse. Let us see how we can chant this.
ऊर्ध्वमूलो वाक्शाख ऊर्ध्वमूलो वाक्शाख एषोऽस्वत्थः सनातनः एषोऽस्वत्थः सनातनः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकाः श्रुताः सर्वे तस्मिन् लोकाः श्रुताः सर्वे तदो नात्येति कश्चन तदो नात्येति कश्चन एतद्वैतत् एतद्वैतत्.
So this verse ends as etat vaitat. So what do we understand? This verse also refers to the answer to Nachiketa's question by Yamadharmaraja. Oh, Nachiketa, you wanted to know, is there life after death? Yes, there is life after death. But how do I see that life as my own swarupa? Let me give you an example of Ashwatha tree. If you understand the example, you will understand your own nature. That is how Yamadharma Raja explains in this verse. Urdhva Mulaha, whose roots are above, Brahman roots are beyond. You see, when we say above here, it does not actually mean above with in reference to below and above. What it refers is, Shankaracharya clarifies this in the Bhashyam. He says that, uh, just a minute, yeah? So what he means is that the Ashwatha tree the and the branches are comparatively uh, grosser compared to the roots, and the roots means it is beyond our perception. It is the Adhar. So Brahman is the Adharam for the entire Jagat. It is the superior most in creation. Suppose you want to know what is the wonder of this world. The wonder of this world is that there is something which is the Jagat Karanam. Avaka Shakha. Samsara means it is the lower branches. There are upper branches and lower branches. Mahantam Mahatvam. Both Ashwatha tree and Brahman are spread out. They are huge. You can't imagine where the universe starts and where the universe ends, isn't it? Stars, galaxies are like the branches. When we go and search of the stars, there are hundreds and thousands of stars. There is no Sanatanaha, Adi Antarahitvam. There is no beginning, there is no end to the Ashwatha tree and to the Brahma Swarupa. Brahma Sutra has got a similar uh, verse which refers to this particular verse of Kathopanishad. In that Brahma Sutra verse, it says very clearly that the world is without a beginning and without an end. Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, gives another verse which says the same meaning. Na rupamasye tatadopalapyate nanto na chardin na cha sampratishta ashwatthamenam suviruda moolam asanga shastrena dridena chitva. It is an eternal universe. So whenever we open our eyes in the morning, we are seeing the same universe. Eternally it is there. And as we see this, what happens? It is inexplicable, anirvachaniyam. I can't find words to describe this. Is there fate or free will? Fate means with reference to past results which are already experienced as bhokta. This is the best way to understand fate and free will. Many people get confused. Is there fate in life? If I want to know what is this fate, what the wise people, the acharyas, they tell us is whatever you have experienced, you take it as your fate. What you're going to experience in future, take it as free will. That means as a karta, I've got free will to do all actions in the future. As a bhokta, whatever I enjoyed, experienced, whether it is joy or sorrow, I have experienced joy and sorrow, and this is something which cannot be discussed, which cannot be described, which cannot be described. How? Why did I enjoy that or suffer that? That is why it is called as anirvachaniyam. Our whole life is indescribable. Anybody's life. You take your own life, you take and try to understand why did I experience this? Why I didn't experience this? There is a cause and effect. Mutually, there is a cause and effect, but it is not clearly definable. The reasons behind the cause and effect are not easy to understand. That is why the world is called as Anirvachaniya Jagat. Moolatvam, Adharatvam. Adharatvam means the roots are the support for the tree. Suppose the roots are not there, the tree will fall. So similarly, what Upanishad says is that for this universe, there is Brahman or Ishvara, the Lord, who is the support all the time. That Lord's nature is Chaitanya Swarupa. Lord's nature is pure existence. And that Chaitanyam is Indriya Agocharam. You cannot experience the consciousness nature or the existence nature of the pure Brahman. What we experience is the world, which is Saguna Ishvara. So when you look at the Shakatvam, that means the branches, you can compare the upper branches with the upper lokas. There are 7 lokas. Lokas means fields of experience. Bhu, Bhuvar, Suvar, Mahar, Jana, Tapa, Satya Loka. Then there are 7 lower lokas. Patala, Mahatala, Talatala, Sutala, Bhutala, Atala, Vitala, Rasatala. These are the 7 lokas. You can get the descriptions of these lokas in the Bhagavatam. So Phalatvam, I have explained in the previous paragraph, where I said Phalatvam means you have Sukham and Dukham as the fruit of our experiences. There are happy incidences, there are sad incidences in life. Now, birds come and reside in the branches to eat the fruits. Similarly, the jivas, they come into the world like the birds, they come, the jivas, they come. Infinite number of jivas are there. See the beauty of this, our universe. Infinite number of jivas are coming here to why do they come into this world? Why is a baby born in this world? According to the Shastra, it is coming here for Sukha Dukkha Anubhava. Chalantva. Cyclonic winds sway the tree. See, when there are strong winds, the tree gets shaken. Similarly, prarabdha karma, when prarabdha hits us, then our whole life seems to be shaken. The jivas are tossed up from one city to another city. We don't know why we shifted from say India to Singapore or to America or to London. We don't know. Why? The answer is given here. It is Chalanatvam of the universe. Samashti karma is responsible for the movement of the whole world. Why there is a cyclone? Why there's an earthquake? It is Samashti karma. Why there are floods? Samashti karma. Chedyatvam. See how many beautiful features Shankaracharya gives in this particular verse. When you study the Bhashyam, you get a lot of this explanation on these points. Chedyatvam. You can cut the tree. Similarly, you can cut the tree of samsara by knowledge. Atma Vidya, Brahma Vidya. The sorrow which we experience can be destroyed. Tadeva Shukram Tad Brahma. This is the universe. This is this universe which has the root, the support of Brahman. That is what you wanted to know, Nachiketa. See how Yamadharmaraja is linking the teaching with Nachiketa's question. Nachiketa wanted to know, is there life after death? But here he is saying, don't talk about life after death. You try to understand what is this universe first. Then we'll talk about what happens after death. If you can understand, like we are trying to understand what is the nature of this universe while we are living, then what happens? We are able to understand the nature of our whole life. There is a root, there is a support, there is something which is beyond our eyes, which is called as Brahman. Knowing this Brahman, I can be free from birth and death. Why is Brahman supposed to be superior compared to the universe? Because universe consists of punya papa karma phalam. Brahman means it is pure nature of Chaitanyam. There is nothing beyond this Chaitanya. Neha nanasti kinchana. We have seen this before. Like the dream world does not affect the waker. The waking world does not affect Brahman. Try to understand this point. If you can, you see, many a times in understanding the nature of the universe, the Upanishads uses the example, our own anubhava of waking and dream, waking and Brahman. Brahma Anubhava and Jagrat Anubhava. So when we do this, what happens? Nothing of the, you see, in the dream world, when we experience the dream, the whole universe is rises from the waker only. It is the waker's mind. So similarly, we have to understand from this consciousness, which is pure in nature, which is immortal. Tadeva amrutam uchyate. This pure consciousness is the root of this entire universe, our experiences in this universe. All the 14 lokas are based on that pure consciousness. Tasmin ashre loka shrita sarve. Like the dream world depends on the waker, the waking world depends on this Brahman. See, when we try to learn these verses, you get an idea about how to see it in your own self. When we contemplate on these verses, contemplation means what? When I sit in meditation and think of these verses, then what happens? In my own mind, I am able to understand the depth of these verses. Tyagaraja was one of the great poets of South India, and his songs, he has sung several songs, and most of them, he keeps on saying, "You are the support of the whole cosmos. You are the support of my body and mind also. Therefore, I'm singing the songs for you." So ultimately, what we have to understand is this pure consciousness, pure nature of existence is the ultimate adhara. There is nothing outside this awareness principle. See, Nachiketa must be wondering, I am asking you a simple question about Atma. Why are you talking about Brahman? But then he has to, Lord Yamadharmaraja has to talk about Brahman because Atma cannot survive without Brahman. There is a connection between Brahman and Atma. There is a connection between me and the totality. That is why Brahma Vidya is not complete unless until you know yourself and the world. That is, see, the Lakshyartha of a Jiva and the Lakshyartha of Ishvara is the same Brahman. Vachyartha is different, but Lakshyartha is the same. I hope you understand the Lakshyartha and Vachyartha. Vachyartha means the direct meaning of Jiva is he is limited. Direct meaning of Ishvara is he is limitless. But the Lakshyartha of Jiva is what? He is a conscious being. He is an existent being. You remove the Anatma portion from the Jiva, you are in pure existent consciousness. Similarly, from Ishvara, you remove the Nama Rupa portion. What exists is pure Chaitanyam, pure Sat principle. That is how we have to understand this verse. It is just not trying to understand a particular tree and then trying to compare it with Brahman. No. The example of a tree has got limitations. You should forget the non-common features and then look at the common features between a tree and the pure consciousness. Okay? Let's go to the second verse.
यदिदं किं च जगत् सर्वं यदिदं किं च जगत् सर्वं प्राण एजति निःसृतं प्राण येजति निःसृतं महद्भयं वज्रमुद्यतं य महद्भयं वज्रमुद्यतं य एतद्विदुरमृतास्ते भवन्ति एतद्विदुरमृतास्ते भवन्ति.
In this verse, Lord Dharmaraja is trying to establish a relationship between the world and this Brahman. He just says that by the fear, we have seen this in Taittiriya Upanishad also, surely by the fear of the Brahman, this entire world is functioning. Indirectly, what he wants to say is Brahman is the material cause and the intelligent cause of the universe. Without this intelligent cause and material cause, there cannot be an universe. Cosmos consists of Chetana Tattvam and Achetana Tattvam. Chalanam and Achala. Achetana means what? Insentient, immovable objects, inert objects. Chetana means sentient, which can move. Prane ijati nisritam. Universe emerges from this Brahman. Universe resolves into this Brahman. Prana here means not the actual prana which we breathe and all that. Here, prana means Brahman. See, prana has got several meanings. In this context, prana means Brahman. From this Brahman, this entire universe emerges. It functions. It is the Srishti Sthiti Karanam. It is the material cause. See, material cause, if you remove the material cause from the product will perish. Similarly, you remove the existence and the consciousness principle from this universe, there is no universe which will be left. Now, the Upanishad has a style of presenting this. It says, because of fear, the whole universe is functioning. The sun is glowing. The stars are moving. The sun moves at a specific speed. All this is maintained by some law giver. Upadesha Sara, the first verse itself says that there must be a giver of the fruits of actions. We all have got punya papa. But then the punya papam remain in dormant condition when we are sleeping. But somebody has to activate us. So who activates us from sleep? It is Ishvara. It is this consciousness principle which activates us from our sleep condition, from unmanifest condition to manifest condition. And that is that Ishvara, that principle is called as Maya Shakti. See, generally we don't understand what is Maya. But when we try to understand in this fashion, how do people get up from sleep? And why do they go back to sleep? See, both the questions are answered by the Shakti of Maya. Why does the universe works through different laws? For example, gravitational law, then the movement of the stars. There are so many laws. Even if you study atomic physics, you'll study there are different laws by which the protons, neutrons, electrons, they're all moving in certain fashion. So one who follows these laws is a God-fearing person. One who knows that there is a law provider. That law provider is called as Brahma. That is what in the second verse, Lord Yamadharmaraja says that the entire functioning of the cosmos is because of the laws given by this pure consciousness, Ishvara. Let's go to a little bit more elaboration of the second verse, which is the third verse.
भयादस्याग्निस्तपते भयादस्याग्निस्तपते भयात्तपति सूर्यः भयात्तपति सूर्यः भयात् इन्द्रश्च वायुश्च भयात् इन्द्रश्च वायुश्च मृत्युर्धावति पञ्चमः मृत्युर्धावति पञ्चमः.
So this is an elaboration of the second verse. So first verse talked about the structure of the universe. The second verse talked about how the universe functions because of this Maya Shakti. Now the third verse is saying that how bhayam, fear is the cause of the fire burning. Fear is the cause of the sun shining. Fear is the cause of all the devatas functioning in their respective fields. Devatas means they are natural forces, lightning, rain, uh, thunderstorm, the earth's movement. All these are all natural forces. The natural forces in Sanskrit are called as devatas. For the functioning of my body, there are devatas which are responsible. That is why in Tattvabodha we have seen Surya Bhagavan is the Chakshur Devata. Okay, all the devatas when you study it in Tattvabodha. So Asya Bhayat, because of the fear, we find that the Pancha Bhutas are functioning. Sun rises and sun sets. Indra represents rain and Vayu represents wind. Why do they move? How does cyclones happen? How does good rain happens? All this is with reference to the Devatas functioning. Mrityu Dhavati Panchama. How does Lord Yama function? He functions through the principle of Kala, time. When the time comes, things are born. When the time comes, things are gone. It is all through the instrument of time. So when I embrace Lord Shiva, what happens to me? I am embracing the Kala, the Kala controller of Kala. If I am with that controller, I am immortal because that Devata which controls Kala is immortal. Agni, Surya, Indra, Vayu, and Mrityu. Mrityu is supposed to be the fifth Devata in this particular mantra. All these are all afraid of Brahman. They are all functioning because of the laws which are governed by the controller. In Taittiriya Upanishad, I told you that similar idea is there. For those who have done Taittiriya Upanishad with me, you would remember this verse, the second chapter, eighth section. Second chapter is supposed to be the Brahmavali chapter, the main portion of Brahma Vidya. There it says, through the fear of that Brahman, the wind blows, the sun rises, the moon rises at a certain time. And at last it says, even death happens because of this fear of Brahman. The devatas are all controlled by Ishvara. Small devatas, they're all small devatas, but they're all controlled by Ishvara. But there is some way to come out of this fear. How do I come out of this fear? That is mentioned in the next verse.
इह चेदशकद्बोद्धुम् इह चेदशकद्बोद्धुम् प्राक्शरीरस्य विस्त्रसः प्राक्शरीरस्य विस्त्रसः तत सर्गेषु लोकेषु ततः सर्गेषु लोकेषु शरीरत्वाय कल्पते शरीरत्वाय कल्पते.
See, many people they ask this question: is there a proof in the Veda for rebirth? And is there a proof for liberation, moksha? Is there a pramanam? What is the source for rebirth? What is the source for moksha? This verse of Kathopanishad is the source. It gives you both the topics. Number one, how to get liberation, and is liberation possible? It is mentioned here. Yes, it is possible. While living here, not after death. Jivan Mukti is available while living in this world. Then what happens? Suppose how this status is obtained by Brahma Vidya. If you understand the nature of Brahman, not only understand, but you have to claim it as your own Swarupam also. See, that second portion is a slightly difficult portion. That is why meditation helps a lot. There are conditions required for Brahma Jnanam. What is the condition? We are going to study it. Suppose you don't get this Brahma Vidya knowledge, it also says that you will be coming back into this world with another body. See, Nachiketa's question was, what happens after death? Here is the answer to it. Etat Vaita. Suppose you don't understand your nature, Nachiketa, you will be born again in this world. So rebirth is the proof for rebirth is there in this verse. Sargeshu lokeshu sharirastvaya kalpate. You will be born again and take up another body in the same world. See, the body is just an incidental thing. You are there in this body, it is an upadi. Prak sharirasya vistraha. Before the fall of the body, we must comprehend the nature of Brahman. Jiva is one of the human beings, one of the living beings in this universe. There are 84 lakh species in this universe. Human body is, we get it with a lot of punya. And why do we get this body? To cross over this sorrow in life. See, this is the vision of the Veda. If you ask a general person, this vision he will not be able to get, but the Veda tells us that you are given, you can be born as with so many different bodies. Good body, body which has got problems and so on. But if you have a good body, come and learn this Upanishad and try to understand you are without the body is your real Swarupam. You become fit to come back to this body, another body, if you don't have this knowledge. Sargeshu Lokeshu, in the 14 lokas, you can be born. Because each loka is nothing but the field of experience. Suppose it is like going to America, going to London, these are different fields of experiences. Similarly, there are different lokas. Lokas means it is only a field of experience. Kshetram. But how do I know my nature? How can I know my nature as Brahman? How is it possible? It is explained in the next verse.
यथा दर्शे तथात्मनि यथा दर्शे तथात्मनि यथा स्वप्ने तथा पितृलोके यथा स्वप्ने तथा पितृलोके यथाप्सु परीव ददृशे तथा गन्धर्वलोके यथाप्सु परीव ददृशे तथा गन्धर्वलोके छायातपयोरिव ब्रह्मलोके छायातपयोरिव ब्रह्मलोके.
Here, Lord Yama is giving us an example. A waker, when he goes to the dream world, how does he experiences? He experiences a world. But in that dream world, that waker is there or not? Yes, he is there. He is there as what? As the substractor. For example, you look at a mirror, you see your face only. So your face, your original body is a substratum for the reflection in the mirror. So similarly, I have to, when I close my eyes and I want to see myself, you should say, Aham Brahma Asmi. I am the one who is appearing in this world as the waker. I means here what? I am the pure consciousness, pure existence. That pure consciousness existence is reflected in the body and in the universe. That is the idea which is being conveyed here. Atma here means it is a buddhi. See, Atma has got different um, meanings. तथा आत्मनि यथा स्वप्ने तथा पितृलोके. Like you see the pitrulokas, you see the dream. Similarly, like you see your own reflection in a clean mirror, you should say, Aham Brahma Asmi. I am seeing myself in this entire universe as the pure existence consciousness. Different lokas have got different orders of realities. There are different types of enjoyments. Gandharva Loke, there is music and dance, arts. It's famous for arts. So in this Manushya Loka itself, you can understand your own nature as Brahman. Don't postpone this knowledge. Make full use of this birth to understand you are ever free from body and mind and the universe. The central message of the fifth verse is I am in this universe, I am in the form of pure consciousness. I alone appear as this body, I alone appear as this mind. Body mind is incidental phenomena of nature. But I am the pure consciousness. That is how I have to look and understand my own nature and be free from this body. These verses have got very deep meaning, but those deep meanings you can understand if you meditate. Okay? All right. Now let's go to the next verse.
इन्द्रियाणां पृथग्भावम् इन्द्रियाणां पृथग्भावम् उदयास्तमयौ च यत् उदयास्तमयौ च यत् पृथग् उत्पद्यमानानां पृथग् उत्पद्यमानानां मत्वा धीरो न शोचति मत्वा धीरो न शोचति.
So here, how should I see myself? That what has been explained in the fifth verse. Now Yamadharmaraja is explaining a little bit further. See, these are all called as sadhanani. How can I experience my nature while living? We all know that we have got five sense organs and they appear and disappear. But I, the self, the Atma, never disappear, never perish. That is how I should understand this pure nature of Atma. And why should I realize this eternal self in this human life? Because Tarati Shokam Atmavit Bhavati. In Chandogya Upanishad, Narada is the teacher, and there is uh, Sanat Kumara is the teacher, Narada is the student. So Narada is told by Sanat Kumara, the teacher, that if you want to cross sorrow, you understand yourself as Atma. Don't understand yourself as the body. Don't understand yourself as the mind. The moment you keep a distance between you and the mind, you and the body, you have taken the step to come out of sorrow. By the discrimination of the sense organs, try to understand that there is an uncaused cause. Atma is uncaused. It is a karanam. In Mandukya Upanishad, there's one full section in the fourth chapter and the third chapter which talks about a karanam Brahma. A karanam. That means the pure consciousness doesn't have a cause. It is always there. Eternally it is there. That is why it is called as Nityaha. So, first I should have the value of, understand the value of Manushya Shariram, Manushya Jan. It's not by accident I have been born as a human being. There are certain laws which govern that. Having been born as a human being, try to understand the nature of the universe, nature of consciousness, nature of Atma. Now, whenever we use aham, there are aham can refer to four things. I. Normally, I refers to the sthula sharira, body. If you get a little bit more viveka, discrimination, you will say I refers to the mind. Because my mind is more important because that is the locus for my enjoyment of joy and sorrow. It is a locus. The mind is situated inside this body. It is subtler. Now, what is the cause of this sukham and dukham? And that is what is called as Karana Sharira. So I can refer to the Karana Shariram, I can refer to the Sukshma Shariram, I can refer to the Sthula Shariram. But beyond these Sharirams, there is a witness consciousness which is called as Chaitanyam. It is always there with the Sthula Shariram, but it is also there beyond the Sthula Shariram. It has its own independent existence. If I can say I am that Chaitanyam, which is that pure consciousness, which is my own intrinsic nature, then that is called as Aham Brahma Asmi. I am that pure Atma. I am that pure Brahman. To own up that Ananda Swarupa, you see, this pure consciousness is Ananda Swarupa. It is blissful. Why is it blissful? Because it doesn't have Shariram. It doesn't have Sthula Shariram. It doesn't have Sukshma Shariram. It doesn't have Karana Shariram. The Shariram is responsible for Dukkham. So this Atma is Lakshyata. Tvam Pada Lakshyata. Vachyartha means what? Tvam Padam means what? I. For the I, the direct meaning is the body. The indirect meaning is this Chaitanyam. If I can own the Chaitanyam, I will be ever free. That is what is explained here by Lord Yamadar. So Lord Yama is teaching us how I should withdraw from Anatma and identify with Atma and own up that Atma as my real Swarupa. This Atma is very closely connected with the body and the Indriyas. Like my spectacles are is like it is an instrument. But when I look through the glasses, I have forgotten that I have a glasses also. But suppose I know that I am someone separate, different from the glasses, then I have knowledge about my real nature. Suppose through the indriyas, the five sense organs which are there in the body, they are the cause of the experiences of the universe. This is what we are going to meditate on today. In our meditation session, we're going to have a meditation session today where we're going to have this meditation. So beyond the Indriyas is this Atma. Prashna Upanishad says in the fourth chapter of Prashna Upanishad, we'll be doing Prashna Upanishad perhaps after doing Kathopanishad. I will see how it goes. Now, in that Prashna Upanishad, it says that Atma is beyond the sense organs and it is not the ego, it is not the doer and enjoyer in this world. That Atma is indestructible. It is immortal. I am that Atma is the way to realize this pure nature of consciousness. Indriyam pratak bhavam. What is incidental is not my nature. What is eternally available, changelessly available, is consciousness, awareness. I always exist. I'm always conscious. That is our intrinsic nature. I am seeing my body, I am seeing the world is an incidental nature. Try to understand. I'm giving you a very, very subtle point to understand the awareness principle. Atma kaha, Tathoboda we have seen. Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharira Vyatiriktat Panchakosha Avastatraya Sakshi Sachidananda Sorupaha Sa Atma. Atma is beyond the three Sharirams, beyond the five koshas, and beyond the three avasthas. A very, very important verse of Tathoboda, the definition of Atma. In meditation, you should never forget that this is the definition of Atma. Always, when I want to know who I am, remember this verse. Iti matva dhiro na shochati. Having understood that I am different than the experienced body, experienced sense organs, experienced world, I am different than them. Then the wise man crosses all sorrow. Means what? He becomes immortal. He is no longer mortal jiva. Aham amrutaha bhavati. I become pure, immortal Atma. So this is the greatest benefit of this study of Upanishads. Very, very important, very subtle point, but once you have the Atma Vidya, you will get the phalam for it. That phalam is immortality. There is a time gap between knowledge and the fruit of knowledge. There is a time gap. And that time gap is decided by the nididhyasanam process. I have to remove all the wrong notions about myself and own up that Atma as my real nature. Jatas hi dhruvo mrityuhu, dhruvam janma mrityusya cha, tasmat parihararte natvam shochati marhasi. Second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the 27th verse. We did a meditation on this recently, or 2-3 weeks back. Certain is death for a person who is born. For a jiva who thinks that he is born, death is certain. And death is certain, but rebirth is also certain. When a person dies, he will be reborn if he doesn't have the knowledge of Atma. So therefore, you shouldn't grieve. You shouldn't have sorrow in life because it's a part. See, what in these verses Lord Krishna tries to explain to us is that there is a phenomena of birth and death in this world. Both are opposite pairs. It is part. You cannot have a coin with two sides. You cannot have only one-sided coin. That is what he explains in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna says, accept the pairs of opposites in life. Accept it. Don't oppose it. Don't keep on asking why. It is a part of life. So I use the instruments, which are the indriyas and the body and the mind, as an instrument. I don't say the instruments are me. We suffer because we say the body is me, the mind is me. Mind has got sorrow, mind has got sorrowful experiences, but there is a witness of the mind. That is what I should claim as the Swarupam. So here, Lord Yamadharmaraja is, see how beautiful this chapter is designed. So well is this teacher who can explain to us what is the nature of Ma, what is the nature of Brahman. It is the pure consciousness which is the substratum. And then how he explains this again. See, there is a step-by-step teaching process in these verses. Two verses, 7 and 8, they are very important verses in the Kathopanishad. It gives us how slowly I have to move away from the world, away from the sense organs, away from the mind, and reach art. Okay, so let us try to see the chanting of these two verses. They are normally taken together because the ideas are connected.
इन्द्रियेभ्यः परं मनाः इन्द्रियेभ्यः परं मनाः मनसः सत्त्वमुत्तमं मनसः सत्त्वमुत्तमं सत्त्वादधि महानात्मा सत्त्वादधि महानात्मा महतो व्यक्तमुत्तमं महतो व्यक्तमुत्तमम्.
So this is a analysis of the Panchakoshas. Okay, the 7th verse and the 8th verse. Let's see the 8th verse now.
अव्यक्तात्तु परः पुरुषः अव्यक्तात्तु परः पुरुषः व्यापको लिङ्ग एव च व्यापको लिङ्ग एव च यं ज्ञात्वा मुच्यते जन्तुः यं ज्ञात्वा मुच्यते जन्तुः अमृतत्वं च गच्छति अमृतत्वं च गच्छति.
How to reach this immortal Atma? Through Panchakosha Viveka. It was done in the first chapter, third section. In the second chapter, third section, it is repeated. In the first chapter, 10th and 11th mantra, the third section. In the second chapter, 7th and 8th mantra. So, first of all, external world is controlled. Who is the controller? The body. Body is controlling means what? It is controlling all the impulses which are coming from the external. But the body, in the body, what is the controller? The sense organs. Now, the sense organs, what controls the sense organs? We have seen this in Tathoboda also. Mind is the controller. We have seen that chariot example in the second chapter, where we talk about the horses, the charioteer. Same example now here, Lord Yamadharmaraja brings by way of Panchakosha Vivek. So mind is controlled by the intellect. Intellect is controlled by the total intellect. Total intellect is Hiranyagarbha, firstborn, Brahmaji. Then that intellect is governed by what? Avyaktam, unmanifest, which is Karana Shariram, Karana Prapancha. Unmanifest is controlled by Purushaha. Can you see this table? Try to understand this table. If you don't understand, you can ask me in the question box. I will explain this. But it's very important, especially when it is in the seat of meditation, you want to know this is extremely important. When you close your eyes and say, I am Atma, you should have done this Viveka in your mind. If you don't do this Viveka, you'll be struggling with your Stula Shariram, you'll be struggling with the world outside, you'll be struggling with all the thoughts which are bubbling. You don't know what to do with the thoughts. You have to tell your mind that there is something called as Avyaktam. There is an unmanifest condition of the mind, which is the Karana Shariram. And beyond that Karana Shariram is this Atma. If you understand this logic and this step-by-step process, you will never miss Atma. Indrebhyam param manaha. Withdraw the mind from the external world and come to the body level. From the body level, identify with the sense organs. Annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, anandamaya kosha. At the total level, you come to the Hiranyagarbha, Virat, Hiranyagarbha, and Ishvara. Ishvara is Avyakta Rupa. Beyond the Ishvara is the Turiyam, which is also called as Purushaha. Like when you want to climb the Mount Everest, which is 29,000 feet above, first you have one camp at the 5,000 feet, second camp at 8,000 feet, the fifth camp, third, fourth, fifth, then you come to the 20,000 feet. So that your lungs have got used to they get acclimatized to the rarefied atmosphere. Similarly, our mind also needs to withdraw from one kosha to the other kosha. From the waking state in Mandukya Upanishad, when we do Omkara Vichara, you have to start from waking state, go to the dream state, go to the sleep state, and then say, I am Turiya. In Taittiriya we have to go same way. Stula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, Karana Shariram, and then Atma. It is called as Arundhati Darshana Nyaya. Now, the controller is stronger than the control. The mind is stronger than the sense organs. If your mind says, I will not touch my mobile phone for some day, for 10 minutes, then the indriyas will never look at the mobile phone. So, Atma is the ultimate controller of what? Of the entire field of experiences. Mind must be made intensive and extensive, subtle and expanded. See, these are the four exercises of the mind. You have to make your mind subtle and subtle. How do I make my mind subtle? By going through these type of verses. I try to understand these verses, understand the step-by-step process of going deeper and deeper within my mind, and then say, I am the pure existence. Sadeva Somyam Idamagra Asi. That is what is said in Chandogya Upanishad in the 6th chapter, 2nd section. Before the world was there, it was in an unmanifest condition. And beyond this unmanifest condition is this Sat, Chit, Atma. So, all the adjectives we use, they all belong to Anatma. It is Nama and Rupa. Entire field of Anatma is only name and form. Anything you take, body, mind, punyam, papam, everything is all name and form. But beyond this name and form, there is an unmanifest condition, and the unmanifest condition is what we experience in the sleep state, where we experience total ignorance, which is also called as Maya Shakti. It is also called as sleep. Mahataha Avyaktam Uttamam. Beyond this Mahat here means Hiranyagarbha, Sukshma Shariram, Samashti Sukshma Shariram. Then comes this final Brahman, which is not blankness, but it is the substratum, it is the state of singularity from which the whole universe rises and the universe dissolves. So I am not the Vishwa with the gross body. I am not the Taijasa. Taijasa is the dreamer with the subtle body. I am not the Prajna, which is with the Karana Shariram, which is subtlest. From the highest level to the absolute level, I have to go. The highest level which I can know in this world is Abhyakta, which is sleep state. That is the highest, according to the Veda. But beyond that Abhyakta Avastha is Avyakta Vastu, which is Brahman. Try to understand the difference between Vastu and Avastha. Shankaracharya brilliantly comments on this in the 4th chapter of Mandukya. I have to drop the Avastha, hold on to the Advaita Vastu, which is Turiyam, Atma, Brahma. Okay, so I will repeat this 8th verse again one more time. Let's chant. Let's see the chanting.
अव्यक्तात्तु परः पुरुषः अव्यक्तात्तु परः पुरुषः व्यापको लिङ्ग एव च व्यापको लिङ्ग एव च यं ज्ञात्वा मुच्यते जन्तुः यं ज्ञात्वा मुच्यते जन्तुः अमृतत्वं च गच्छति अमृतत्वं च गच्छति.
This verse of Kathopanishad is the proof of Karana Shariram and what lies beyond the Karana Shariram. These are all very interesting knowledge pertaining to Brahman. See, we cannot look at Jagrata Avastha alone. We have to study all the three avasthas and then go beyond that to know our real nature. We experience blankness when we suspend our sensory perceptions, emotional feelings, intellectual thoughts. Suppose we suspend them. There is something beyond that. It is not blankness. It is the subtle state of matter. Matter, according to Vedanta, has got two conditions: manifest condition, unmanifest condition. Manifest condition is the Jagrata Avastha. Unmanifest condition is the Sushupti Avastha, the sleep state. Beyond the Sushupti, beyond the sleep state, there is an Advaita Vastu, non-dual Brahman or non-dual Atma. That is the ultimate goal of our study. We can objectify the blankness in sleep, but we cannot objectify the seer of that blankness, the sakshi of the blankness, that witness of the blank. Suppose we say in the hall there is nobody. How can I say there is nobody? Only when I am there, who is the seer of that nobody, I can say there is nobody. Similarly, in sleep, unless until I, the Atma, am there, I cannot say there is blankness also. This is a very important argument by Shankaracharya against the Buddhists. Avyakta tu paraha purushaha vyapkaha. Purushaha is all pervading. It is outside the body, it is inside the body. Both. So Purushaha means what? Purishete iti Purushaha. It's the indweller inside the body. One definition. The second definition is what? Purayati iti sarvam iti Purushaha. All pervading is this Purushaha. It pervades the whole universe. So you have to use both the definitions of Purushaha to understand the nature of Atma. Purushaha is in the five koshas. It is also beyond the five koshas, is the understanding of Atma. Superficially, wave has a form, finite, perishable, miserable form. Similarly, Jiva superficially has got a form which is the body, Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, Karana Shariram. But the essential content of the Jiva is this consciousness. The essential content of the wave is the water. That water is this compared to the Chaitanya. Chaitanyam is birthless. It is deathless. It is always peaceful. Supreme Shanti is the Shanti of Atma. With what do I identify while I'm living? Suppose you are a jnani, you will identify with the Atma only. Why should you identify with the body? Because Atma is real, body is unreal. Alinga evacha. Lingam is the five koshas. Linga means what? It is the indicator of what? Of the alinga, which is attributeless consciousness. Five koshas are lingam. But what does it indicate? What is the lakshartha of the panchakoshas? Alinga Atma. Nirvana Shatkam, Name Dvesha Ragau, Name Lobha Mohau, Mado Naiva Matsarya Bhavaha. I don't have any greed, attachment, I have no intoxication. I have no emotion, jealousy, nothing. Why? Because I am the eternal Atma. Yam nyatva muchyate jantuhu. The seeker recognizes this Purusha alone, and he is the one who becomes immortal. When the jnani becomes knows this Atma, what will he declare? I was immortal, I am immortal, I will ever be immortal because Atma is birthless, Atma is deathless. I know the truth of the entire universe now. I am released from the notion of mortality. I am Mukta Purusha right now, here and now. Mortality is not a fact, it's not a fact, but it is a notion of the intellect. What is the fact? Fact is, I am immortal Atma. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says one will go from mortality to mortality by the fear of separative existence. We all know this mantra, which is it is a very famous mantra. Uh, Asatoma Satgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityoma Amritangamaya. This mantra comes in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. This is the mantra I'm quoting here. It comes in Brihadaranyaka, chapter 1, third section, 28th mantra. Very, very famous mantra. It says, lead me from evil to the good. Lead me from darkness to the light. Lead me from mortality to immortality. This is a prayer of a seeker. Amritatvam chagachati. When the notion of mortality goes from any seeker, then that seeker attains immortality. So, what gives us immortality? It is the knowledge of Atma. It is the jnanam. That is why a clear understanding of Atma will give me the benefit of this knowledge. It's a very beautiful mantra. The seventh and the eighth mantra convey has got a lot of significance behind it. When you read these notes, reread these notes, when you go through this at your own leisure, you will see that you can reach your own Atma. While going through these verses, we have done 8 verses today of the section number 3, chapter number 2 of Kathopanishad. These are brilliant verses. We have covered 8 verses today. They are very deep in their meaning. If you understand step by step what Yamadharmaraja is teaching Nachiketa, if I am able to follow that and sit in meditation quietly, you are bound to realize the pure consciousness. This is a promise by the Upanishad. And this thousands of students of Upanishads have understood and realized the truth. We are not the first one going through these mantras. All seekers in the past, in the present, in the future will go through the same Kathopanishad to understand the reality called as Atma or Brahman. These are all brilliant verses of Kathopanishad. It takes you directly into the field of immortality, which is beyond death, which Nachiketa wanted to know, and here we study these verses so that we also get a glimpse of this pure self of ours. Next week, we will start from the ninth verse. There are 18 verses, so there are 10 more verses, 9 more verses. So we will study and then let's continue our study of Kathopanishad next week. With this, I close Kathopanishad. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamathaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I'll see the chat box if there is any questions. Manikandan has a question here. Is Avyakta Vastu Brahman? Does it exist without the Maya during the Pralayam time? Yes, it exists without Maya. Complete dissolution of the world. Yes. You see, it exists not only during when the Maya is not there. How do I experience this? I experience myself in the sleep state. Maya is an example of the Avyakt is an example of the Pralaya Avastha. Pralayam means what? The whole world has gone into unmanifest condition. Again, in the next Srishti, the whole universe will emerge again as per the karma phalams of the next set of jivas who will be born in the next Srishti. So, the Pralaya Avastha and the Sushupti Avastha is very similar. During our human life, Maya is always present. Yes. Hence, we can claim as my nature, but cannot be object the Vastu without Maya till Pralaya is like, oh, no, no, no. You see, your understanding is slightly, okay, your understanding towards the end of the portion is not correct. See, what you have to understand is there is an Avyakta Vastu, unmanifest Vastu, that is what is called as the reality. That is what is called as the truth. That is what is called as Turiyam. That is what is called as Brahman. That is what is called as Atma. It is Avyakta Vastu, unmanifest existence principle, unmanifest consciousness principle exists all the time. It is immortal. It is eternal. But what do we experience? We experience body, mind. This is Maya. So when I'm experiencing the body, mind, and the world, you should say, I am experiencing Maya Shakti. So during our life, Maya is always there. But we can cross this Maya by the study of Upanishad of the Avyakta Vastu, which is beyond Maya. It's a very good question, Manikandan. I'm glad you're asking this. It's a very deep understanding. I'm seeing your question is always trying to go towards the Atma, towards the pure nature of yours, and for it's a good question. So the way to understand this, Avyakta Vastu is always there. Even now, right now, when you're listening, Avyakta Vastu is the pure consciousness. If you know how to reach that consciousness, you can experience it here and now. That is the study of the whole Upanishad. How to drop the body, mind, and remain as the Avyakta Vastu, which is my real nature, which is pure consciousness, pure self. What about about this body? Body is incidental. Compared to what? Compared to the Advaita Vastu, which is pure consciousness. Awareness is myself, body, mind, and the world and the sense organs, they are all incidental. In your own mind, bring the sleep state and try to visualize how am I in the sleep state without the world. But I am there or not? Yes. That I which is there without the world, without the Maya Shakti, is the goal of all the Upanishads. Upanishad wants you to drop this Maya. Upanishad wants you to drop this body, mind, panchakoshas, which we have studied very well in Taittiriya Upanishad. Drop all the panchakoshas up to Anandamaya kosha, which is this Maya. And then ask the question, who am I? And you, not in sleep, but in the waking state, you ask the question because we are gathering the knowledge. This is a knowledge. This is jnanam. Jnanam is vastu tantram. It is not karma tantram. Vastu tantram means if the vastu is there, you will know it. That's all. Suppose there is a sound of a bell, an alarm clock. You will hear it. Suddenly the alarm clock goes, you will hear it because it is vastu tantram, knowledge, jnanam. That knowledge which you are getting through the ears of the sound is sound knowledge. Here, what are we studying through the Upanishad? Upanishad is a pramanam. The ears are a pramanam for the sound. Upanishads are a pramanam for what? For Atma, which exists without the body, without the sense organs, without the universe. Rahitam, rahitam, rahitam. You neti, 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 drop all that and then don't drop your ultimate consciousness. Whatever remains is your true self. So I'm sure all of you are able to grasp this teaching because Upanishad is a pramanam. Like for the sound, ears are a pramanam. For the awareness principle, I am that awareness. That's all. You don't have to do anything else. Use that Upanishad, which teaches us this mantra which we are teaching, which you are learning today. It says just learn to drop the sense organs as an instrument. It is only an instrument I'm using to experience this world. In this world, I experience my husband, I experience my children, I experience. These are incidental, but the experiencer consciousness is eternal. That mantra which is there in Vedanta Upanishad, Asatoma Sadgamaya. Sadga means from Asat come to Sat. From darkness, Jyotirgamaya. From Mrityu, come to immortality. This is the way to come to immortality. It's a very beautiful mantra of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which I combined with the Kathopanishad for meditation today. Thank you. Manikandan, you have any question on this, what I explained? Shanmugam, you unmute all.
Thank you, Secretary. Very clear explanation. So it corrects my
Okay.
understanding.
Thank you.
So
Good.
basically, during our lifetime, we need to realize that by dropping the Maya, we are already the Avyakta Vastu, rather than
Absolutely.
waiting for
That's
the end
correct.
of the life
Yes.
or the end of the pralaya.
Correct.
Okay.
You got the gist of the answer. Just drop the Maya portion. Maya is what? Attachment to Anatma. That attachment, Anatma, comes because of what? Raga and Dvesha. But where does this Raga and Dvesha, where does this Raga and Dvesha exist? It is there in the intellect. It is there in the Buddhi. Buddhi has got attachment towards children. Buddhi has got attachment to the things in the world. Buddhi has got attachment to hundreds and thousands of things. But all these objects are covering Atma. Therefore, I don't realize my Atma as the pure consciousness, awareness principle. So,
Thank you, sir.
my raga and dvesha is responsible for not seeing that reality here and now. That is what Shankaracharya says in the fourth chapter of Mandukya Upanishad, which I was listening today, which is very, very beautifully, which explains this particular question which you're asking. Thank you. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
Nandu, you have something?
Yeah, Hariom sir. Very nice discourse today. I have three questions. I'll maybe just mention that and maybe one
Yeah,
by
we'll
one.
go question by question. I'll answer the
Yeah,
first question, then you take the next question.
yeah. The first question is about like today's shloka, first shloka, Urdhva Mulam, that one. And is it having like a direct relation with the Gita chapter 15, the first shloka, Urdhva Mulam
Absolutely.
Adhashata? Yep.
It's exactly the same verse which is picked up from Kathopanishad.
Yeah. That is one. Then the second one, the seventh mantra we have seen, Indriyabbe Paramanaho, and something similar in Gita, third chapter, 42nd shloka, Indriyani Paranyahu Paramanaha.
Correct. It's exactly the same mantra.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir. And the last one about the beautiful subject about like today's meditation. And as per my understanding, I think this is exactly opposite to the shloka what we have learned in the Kathopanishad about Ashabda Asparsha. And this is the exactly we have done taken for meditation in the other way. The shloka
Correct,
first is talking about Ashabda Asparsha, but here we are talking about the what we are realizing the senses, and that is the
correct.
tattva for the meditation.
Which is exactly opposite of Ashabdam, Asparsham, Arupam, Agandham. It is exactly opposite. What is it opposite? Why is it opposite? Because here we are experiencing the consciousness. Here the focus is on consciousness, the Atma, the positive nature of Atma, not the negative, what we have seen in Ashabdam, Asparsham. Correct. That's the correct way to put it. Good.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
Very good. Excellent mind. You've got a very good memory of connecting things. Every talk you bring out all the connections. I'm very happy. Good. Anybody else has a question? These mantras we have done today, they are very, very contemplative mantras, and you will get the full benefit when you think about these mantras in your own way. Take any mantra and say, well, this is what I learned. Let it become, you see, that is the way to go deep inside your mind. Indrebhya paramanaha. It's a very beautiful verse. Drop the external world. This is the same as Drigdrishya Viveka. First two, three mantras of Drigdrishya Viveka is nothing but this mantra. See, when you know how to connect Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, Drigdrishya Viveka, then you can see how all this, they all point to the same thing. Kino Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, Tattvabodha, so many things we covered today. All linked to the same Atma, again and again. Very good. Um,
I think
Anybody
I
else?
think by by
Yeah.
connecting at least one dots and all, you feel that joy. I mean, you are
Yes,
getting. Yeah,
that's correct. That joy is the joy of Atma. When you try to understand, oh, the intellect gets this joy when it understands this nature of Atma. Anytime, whenever you understand the nature of Atma, it is the Atma's blissful happiness which gets reflected in your own buddhi. That's all. And when that reflection happens, you feel very happy. You feel, I have understood my real nature. And these are all small, little happiness, dots of happiness. Once they get all added up, you can see the conflagration of Atma. When that happens, there is nothing left. It is just you yourself. You are very happy because you know your nature. That's all. when you know your own nature, which the Upanishad is the pramana. Don't forget it. The pramanam, the source of knowledge, like you say, my ears are the source of knowledge for the sound. The source of Atma is Upanishad. Don't ask the question when I was sleeping, how do I know there is an Atma? Don't ask that question. Source is Upanishad, which says there is an Atma, which is Avyaktam, and it is self-effulgent, self-existent. So to know the nature of Atma, come to the Upanishad. To own that Atma, you say, I have full Shraddha in the Upanishad. If I feel happy about learning from, and that is all, there's nothing else. I feel grateful having come to this study of Kathopanishad, Prashnopanishad, Taittiriya Kenopanishad, all are talking of the same one Vastu, which is Nirguna Vastu. It is Advaita Vastu. Advaita Vastu means what? There is nothing else apart from it. Advaitam. Advaitam means there is no Dvaitam in it. There is only itself. That is the way to know Atma. That is the only way to realize my real nature. Advaitam. That is why Advaita Vedanta is the way, it is the only way to moksha. Shankaracharya is brilliant. He argues with all the philosophers in Brahma Sutra and says that your thinking is wrong. My thinking is the only way for moksha. In your thinking, you will not get moksha is a clear statement made by Shankaracharya. Yeah, Bharat, go ahead.
Carry on, Shakaji. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Wonderful lecture. I just wanted to add to what you're saying. I was thinking about the wave and water example, that the wave is just, imagine the water sentient. The wave is just a view, an appearance of the water. It's just water appearing as the wave. So when the wave subsides, when it resolves back into its own swarupa as water. And in the same way, coupled to our waking experience when we go to sleep at night, as a jiva, we're resolving back to our deep sleep state, which is a source of peace and joy. There is no mind, there is no thoughts, there is nothing other than yourself, and so in that sense you have that link to your swarupa. So during the waking state, it's just having that understanding that behind every experience is that swarupa, which is totally changeless, totally seamless, on which everything is arising. I just wanted to add that to your
Very
commentary.
good. Excellent. I mean, you're bringing out the gist of the Upanishads in this 2-3 minutes of your talk. Good, very good. Bharat, well done. Excellently put. And, these things, we are able to now put these things together. And I'm sure whatever you have said, everybody who's listening has also understood what you're saying. So, very, very good understanding of these Upanishadic texts. And well done. Good work. Well done. Anybody else has a question? Okay, there are no questions. I will close today. And then we'll continue tomorrow for those who are attending the Sunday class on Mandukya Upanishad. And thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste, Shekharji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste, Shekharji. Thank you.
Thank
Hari
you.
Om. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye.